We were discussing this chapter number 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants. In this chapter, we were discussing the different parts of a flower, and we have discussed the two worlds in the previous session, that is calyx and the corolla. Even we have also discussed regarding their arrangement in the flower, that what we call it as estivation, arrangement of sepals or petals in a bud condition, what we are calling it as estivation. Now today we have to learn regarding the two important necessary or the reproductive worlds of a flower, and that are Androecium and Gynoecium. So we will discuss each one by one. Let us first start with the first world, that is called as Androecium. Okay, what is an Androecium? You know that the Androecium, it is a male reproductive world. Okay, what it is a male reproductive world of a flower. It is important for a sexual reproduction. The individual unit of this Androecium, we are calling it as a stamen. Okay, the individual unit of this one, we are calling it as stamen, individual unit. Clear? Okay, now let us see what is the structure of this stamen. The stamen usually consists of three parts. Okay, if you see the structure of a stamen, the stamen consists of three parts. The first part, a stalk-like portion, this is a stalk-like portion you can find into a stamen. It is called as filament. What it is called as filament. Next, this structure, okay, that you can find, it's called as anther. And this anther and the filament, they are connected somewhere. It's called as connective. So there are the three parts of a stamen: anther, connective, and the filament. The filament, it's in a stalk-like portion. Now when we see the characteristic of this anther, the anther consists of bilobes, means it consists of two lobes. So we say that the anther is bilobed. Clear? And each lobe, it contains the two pollen sac. Okay, how many pollen sacs are present? Two pollen sacs are present. And from this pollen sac, the pollen grains are going to be produced. So each lobe, here I am writing over here. Okay, so each lobe of anther contains two pollen sac. Pollen sac, and this pollen sac, it produces the pollen grain. This pollen grain, it contains a male gamete. Male gametes, you know that in the sexual reproduction the gametes are important. Without gamete, the process of sexual reproduction does not occur. Okay, and thus they reproduces, or they involve into a sexual reproduction. Now, but there are exceptions. There are stamens who cannot generate the pollen grain. They are sterile. Okay, they are not capable of reproduction. Such sterile stamen, the sterile stamen, what it is called? The sterile stamen, it's called as staminode. What it is called as staminode. Okay, sterile stamen means the stamen which is not capable of reproduction. This is called as a staminode. Okay, so this is regarding the structure of a stamen. Many stamens, they unite together and form a whole whorl of a flower. What we call it as Androecium. So I again just repeat, Androecium is the male reproductive whorl. Its individual unit is called as stamen. Stamen consists of three parts: anther, connective, filament. Filament is a stalk-like portion. The anther, it is a bilobe. Each lobe, it contains a two pollen sac. Pollen sac produces the pollen grain. And the sterile stamen is called as staminode. The anther and the filament, they are joined or they are connected by this connective. So this is the structure of a stamen. Now what is these stamens, sometimes it is attached with other parts of a flower. So if it is attached with a petal, so this kind of a stamen, it's called as epipetalous stamen. What it is called as epipetalous stamen. So what is meaning of epipetalous stamen? Epipetalous stamen, that means stamen attached to petals. Okay, and this kind of a stamen you can find in case of brinjal. The brinjal has an epipetalous stamen. Even sometimes instead of a petal they have a perianth. So such kind of a stamen which is attached with a perianth, it's called as epiphyllous stamen. So what is called as an epiphyllous stamen? Epiphyllous stamen, that means a stamen attached to perianth. And such kind of a stamen you can find in a plant called as lily. Okay, so sometimes the stamen may also attach it with other parts of a flower like petal or the perianth. If it is attached with a petal, then it is called as epipetalous stamen. If it is attached with a perianth, then it is called as epiphyllous stamen. The stamens which are present in the Androecium may be of two types. Either this stamen, they exist in a two form. Means the stamen, whatever the number of stamens they are present, either they are free or they are free. Okay, if it is free, then such kind of a stamen it's called as polyandrous stamen. What kind of stamen it is called as? Polyandrous stamen. And the second type of a stamen where the stamens are fused and it form a bunch. It form a bunch. So if it form a bunch, then they form either a single bunch. I am writing over here. They form either a single bunch. If they are single bunch, then it is called as monoadelphous stamen. It form a two bunch, then we are calling it as diadelphous stamen. And if it forms many bunch, then you can say that it forms a polyadelphous stamen. Clear? So if you see that the stamens can be arranged in a different way. The stamen can be arranged in a different way. Either it may be free. If it is a free, then you can call it as polyandrous. Or they are attached or form a bunch or bundle. Okay, clear? They are joined. If it form a single bundle or single bunch, it's called as monoadelphous. If it forms a two bunch, then it is called as diadelphous. It forms a more than two bunch, then it is called as polyadelphous. Okay, this monoadelphous stamen it's found in the case of China rose. Whereas the diadelphous stamen you can find into a pea plant. And the polyadelphous stamen you can find into a citrus plants like lemon, orange, etc. These are the citrus plants. So the stamen which is present, which may be either free or it may be form a bundle. Okay, and in the bundle either a single bundle, two bundle or more than two bundles are present. Okay, so this is a characteristic regarding the male reproductive wall of a flower. This is called as Androecium. Okay, so this is the third wall of a flower. Now we are moving ahead with the fourth wall and the last wall of a flower. This is the Gynoecium. So let's start with the fourth wall. It's called as the Gynoecium. We are moving ahead with the fourth wall of a flower, what we call it as Gynoecium. So what is a Gynoecium? As you know that the Androecium is the male reproductive wall. This Gynoecium, it is a female reproductive wall of a flower. So it is a female reproductive wall of a flower. Clear? Its individual unit, you know that the individual unit of Androecium it's called as a stamen. Similarly, the individual unit of this Gynoecium it's called as a carpel. Okay, it's unique. Okay, individual unit. The individual unit of this Gynoecium it's called as carpel. Now let us discuss the structure of this carpel. If you see the structure of a carpel, the carpel consists of 3 parts. The carpel is made up of 3 parts. The first part, this is the second part, and now this is the third part. Clear? The first part of this carpel, it is called as a stigma. Okay, this second part, it's called as a style, a tube-like portion, and the lower bulged part, it's called as ovary. So these are the 3 parts of a carpel: stigma, style, and the ovary. Okay, the carpel can also be called as, what's another name of carpel? The carpel can also be called as pistil. Okay, so you can say that the individual unit of gynoecium is either you can call it as carpel or you can also call it as pistil. This carpel or pistil, or each carpel or the pistil consists of 3 parts: stigma, style, ovary. The stigma is the receptive in nature. It receives the pollen grain. Here the pollen grain that falls over here. Okay. Next, the tube-like portion which connect the stigma to an ovary. This portion is called as a style. And the lower part, that is a bulged one, it's called as an ovary. Now this ovary, okay, this ovary, it contains a stalk-like portion. This stalk-like portion is called as placenta, and that bears the ovules. The ovules are present. A stalk-like portion which is attached with an ovary, that's called as a placenta, and this placenta that bears an ovule. So these are called as ovules. Okay, when a flower gets fertilized, this ovary, it converts into a fruit, and the ovule, it converts into a seed. Okay, the ovary, it converts into a fruit, the ovule that converts into a seed. Such kind of a characteristic that you can find into this carpel or the pistil. Now, if you see this gynoecium, its individual unit is called as carpel. This carpel can be either free or it may be fused. Clear? Before I start this free and the fused, I just say the number of carpels in a flower. So the number of carpels in the flower might going to be vary. So if there is only a single carpel or single pistil, then you can say that it is monocarpellary flower. Okay, what I can call it as monocarpellary flower. If it consists of 2 carpels, then we are calling it as bicarpellary flower. And if it contains many carpels, then you can call it as multicarpellary, or you can say a polycarpellary flower. In the monocarpellary, there is only a 1 carpel. In bicarpellary, there is 2 carpel, and in polycarpellary, there are many carpels. When these many carpels are present, either these all carpels are free, they are separated, or they are fused, that means attached. If they are separated, then free, that means we are calling it as apocarpous ovary. What kind of ovary that is? If all the carpels are free, then we are calling it as apocarpous ovary. If the carpels are fused, then we are calling it as syncarpous ovary. Clear? There are 2 types of ovary. Either the ovary is carpels, they are free, that we are calling it as apocarpous. If it is fused, then it's called as syncarpous. So these are the components you can find into a carpel. Okay? Now these carpels which are present, which maybe I have already told you, 1, 2 or many. And in the ovary of this carpel, it contains attached ovules. Now based on the attachment of these ovules or the arrangement of the ovules, different kind of arrangement you can find in it. Even here I have shown the 3 ovules, but the number of ovules within an ovary might vary. It may be 1, or it may be 2, or it may be many. Okay, so the number of ovules within an ovary, that is also vary. Okay, clear? And based on that you can find the number of seeds. Okay, like if you see the mango has 1 seed. That means it indicates that it has only 1 ovule within its ovary. But if you see a tomato, the tomato has many seeds. That means it has many ovules within that ovary. Okay, clear? So this is the difference, the number of ovules that you can find, because ovule ultimately converts into a seed after fertilization, and the ovary, it will convert into a fruit. Now let us see how these ovules are arranged within an ovary. A different kind of arrangement of ovule within an ovary can be found. So let us discuss the arrangement of ovule within an ovary. So now we are going to start with a next term. It's called as placentation. So what is called as a placentation? Placentation, that means it is the arrangement of ovule within an ovary. Okay, what is a placentation? Placentation, that means it is the arrangement of ovule within an ovary. This is called as placentation. A different kind of the arrangement you can find. Usually the 5 main kinds of arrangement you can find in the ovary. The first kind of arrangement of ovule, it's called as marginal placentation. The second one is called as axial placentation. The third one, it's called as parietal placentation. The fourth one, it's called as free central placentation. Okay, and the last one, a last kind of placentation, it's called as basal placentation. So these are the 5 different kind of placentation you can find in it: marginal, axial, parietal, free central, and the basal. We will discuss each one, how the ovules are arranged in each case. So let's start with a marginal placentation. In the marginal placentation, the placenta form a ridge. So this is the ridge which is going to be formed. This ridge is formed along the ventral surface of an ovary. Now along with this ridge, there is a formation of an ovules. Ovules are present. That is present on both the sides, like this. Clear? So such kind of arrangement, it is known as a marginal placentation. The very good example of this marginal placentation is the pea. You might have seen the pea. In the pea, you can find a marginal placentation, where the seeds or ovules are present on both the sides, and that is attached to a ventral ridge. This is a ventral ridge to which it is attached. You can study this pea. It can be easily seen into a marginal placentation into a pea. The second type of a placentation, it's called as an axial. So what is called as an axial placentation? In case of an axial placentation, here the placenta that is present on the center means it is axial. Now to this, the ovules are going to be arranged. These are the ovules which are, I am drawing somewhat bigger. Ovules are going to be attached. Clear? These are the ovules are going to be attached. But here along with this, there is a formation of a septum. This is the formation of a septum. Okay? Septum is going to be formed. And due to a septum, it divides the ovary into a number of locules. 1, 2, 3. Many locules are going to be formed. Okay? Because here the ovary is divided by such kind of a septum. Okay? And the placenta is present on the axis. And from this axis, the ovules are going to be arise. Okay, so such kind of a placentation, it's called as axial placentation. And such kind of axial placentation can be found into a tomato and the lemon. Just open the tomato from the center, just open it out. You can find such kind of a locules, and within these locules you can find their seeds. You know that seed are formed from ovules, means that is the position of these ovules. Okay, so this is called as axial placentation. A third kind of a placentation, it's called as a parietal placentation. So what is called as a parietal placentation? In parietal placentation, suppose this is the ovary. Here the ovules, they are present on the ovaries, in the peripheral regions of the ovary. So here they are present. Ovules are present like this on the periphery, like this. Ovules are present on the periphery. As they are present on the periphery, we are calling it as a parietal placentation. Here actually there is no locules, no septum, like this is a septum, but here there is no septum, but due to a presence of a ovules, it look like that, or it appear like a false septum. Actually there is a no septum, but it look like a false septum here. It is divided into a false septum. So such kind of a placentation, you can call it as the parietal placentation. And this parietal placentation, it is observed into a mustard and the argemone. So this is called as the parietal placentation. And the parietal placentation that is observed into a mustard and the argemone. Clear? So this is the third kind of a placentation. The fourth kind of a placentation, it's called as a free central. It's called as a free central. So what is called as a free central? In this, the name itself suggests, suppose this is an ovary. Here the ovules, they are present in the center, like this. Ovules, they arises from the center, but they are free. They are free, and they doesn't form a septum. Septum is absent over here. Okay, clear? And such kind of a placentation, it's called as a free central. These ovules are free and they are arranged centrally, so that's why we are calling it as free central placentation. And this such kind of a free central placentation, it's found into a dianthus, and it's also found into a primrose. Okay, so this is the fourth kind of a placentation. You can call it as free central. Now the fifth and the last type of a placentation, it's called as a basal placentation. So what is called as a basal placentation? In this basal placentation, suppose assume that this is the ovary. Within this ovary, the ovules, they are present at the base. The ovules, they are present at the base. As it is present in the base, that's why we are calling it as basal placentation. Usually there is a single ovule is found which is present at the base. That's why we are calling it as basal placentation. And such kind of a basal placentation can be found into a sunflower. It's found into a sunflower, and it is also found into a marigold. Okay, clear? So this is called as basal placentation. So that's all about the placentation. So what is a placentation? Placentation, that means arrangement of ovules within an ovary. 5 different kinds of arrangement you can find: marginal, axial, parietal, free central, and the basal. In the marginal placentation, the placenta form a ventral ridge, and on both the side of this ventral ridge, there is a formation of an ovules, like which is observed in the case of P. In the axial placentation, the ovules, they are arises from, or they are located, placenta is located at the axial, and from that the placenta, ovules arise. Even here there is also a formation of a septum which divides the ovary into a multilocules. So that's why it's called as multilocular ovaries over here, which is observed in a tomato and the lemon. In a parietal, it arises from the periphery, but there is no septum, but it appears like a false septum, which is observed into a mustard and argemone. In a free central, the placenta that is present in the centrally, and it is ovules arise freely. There is no septum over here, and that is observed into a dianthus and the primrose. And in the basal placentation, a single ovule is present, usually at the base of ovary. Such kind of a placentation is called as a basal placentation, which is observed into a sunflower and the marigold. So students, today we have discussed regarding the 2 important whorls of a flower, Androecium and the Gynoecium, and its arrangement, what we call it as placentation. So that's all about a flower. In the next session, we will learn regarding the fruit and the seed. How the fruit is formed, what is a fruit, okay, and what are its different types, and what is a seed, how it is formed, and what are its different types. That we will learn in the next session. Till then students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.